I'm just like, who are these people? I want my soft, tiny squishables back. I almost don't recognize them. That's how much they have grown. The twins are thriving. You listen, they absolutely blow my mind with how much they have grown. Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Fifi. I am a radio broadcaster. I'm a twin mom, a natural hair content creator / enthusiast, and this is my channel where I get to talk about, a little bit about my life, a little bit about motherhood, and a little bit about hair. But today's video is about the twins. They have reached the 24-month milestone, and I think now is a good time as ever to perhaps stop referring to their ages in months. You know that joke, you've seen that joke about like first time moms or moms in general, like, oh, how old is your little one? 37 months. I don't want to be that mom, so I'm trying to clean it up, okay? They are 2 years old now, right? And we've reached this milestone. I just honestly can't believe it. From the teeny tiny infants that I had once upon a time, to the big, boisterous, opinionated, confident, walking, talking, slapping, pinching, fighting 2-year-olds that I have now. Let's get into the video. So one of the first things that I noticed about the twins is their growth. It's the sheer growth. It's undeniable in terms of the height, in terms of the weight. They are definitely putting on weight as 2-year-olds should. They are definitely, tall as their classmates. Tepiso has really come into his own in terms of his height. It's not that obvious to too many people, but we're the parents. We pay a lot of attention. Since birth, he has been a few centimeters taller than Tebang, but now because they are walking and talking and the posture is there, Abuti is really coming into his own. He's giving me NBA superstar. He's giving me Siya Kolisi vibes. He's got the shoulders. He's got the build, man. My baby could be a swimmer. Reik Nicklin, we're going to call you for those swimming lessons. But it's been wonderful just to see them grow in general, and honestly remarkable. And that is one of the first things that people will say once they see your baby. Maybe they last saw the babies at around, a year, 15 months, up until they turn 2 years old. It is just a big revelation for friends, for family, to see them in person and how much they've grown. I absolutely love it. Now, at 24 months, at 2 years old, there should be a lot of speech coming in. And let me tell you, this is where Tebang is sort of leading. This is where she is talking a little too damn much, in my opinion. But it's wonderful. Your baby at 2 years old should be able to say a variety of words. They should be able to mimic what you say. If you say baba, they should be able to say baba. If you say titi, they should be able to say titi. If you say poo-poo, they should be able to say poo-poo right back at you. And this is where Tebang is definitely, just showing off a little bit more than her brother. He is still Mr. Quiet Guy, but very playful when he wants to. Everything is at Tepiso's own pace. And not to compare the two, but it's quite difficult not to when you have twins or perhaps children who are close in age. He is just slightly more reserved. He's observant, he's quiet, he's happier to talk and sing and dance on his own timing, right? Where Tebang is literally a little parrot, and I have had to sort of be a little bit more aware of what I say. Now, working as a radio broadcaster, when the mic goes on, I clean up my language very quickly. I think it's the same with this camera, but off air, those who know me really know I can cuss a sailor underneath the ship. You know what I mean? And for me, it's nothing major. It's just the peppering, the seasoning of language and expressing myself. No hard feelings. So I've had to also tone that down within the household. and just watch what I say, because she is mimicking, she is saying a lot. She's able, or both, they are able to identify things. So now calling a shoe by its name, they are able to pick up a shoe and bring it to you. Calling nappies, they now know what nappies are. They are able to pass nappies. It's quite very, very, very adorable. I've noticed when Dad is changing nappies that he's able to send either one of them to fetch an item for him within a close range here in the lounge, and they understand, they comprehend, and they can do that. So they can follow instructions. The speech is growing day by day. It's wonderful to hear. Everyone has just become mama, and I don't like that part. Yeah, everyone has become mama. Any woman figure walking by in the street, teachers at school, have become mama. I've lost my mama title, but I hope to gain it back, and I will let you know as soon as I do, okay? Let's talk about sleep now. So the babies, thank goodness, are still sleeping very well throughout the night. We sleep train them very early on, and they have fallen into the pattern. We no longer use binkies. I updated you and told you that that was a battle not even won by me. The teachers get all the props for that. So they're sleeping very well throughout the night. They're still taking naps, but the naps have reduced. So we went from 2 to 3 naps to just a singular nap during the day. Typically hits between, mid-morning or afternoon. Anytime from 11 to 12 o'clock is when they go down for a nap. I think at school, their nap time is 12:30 or 12. I stand corrected, but they did give us a schedule for the toddlers class, because now, we're in the toddlers class. They gave us a schedule, and we try to keep it, as close as possible at home over the weekends, or if it's during the week and we're all home, we try to keep it as close as possible. So they are sleeping very well. The naps are down to just a single nap, which is anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours and a half. Right? Yeah. The max that we've hit during nap time since they've turned 2 is 3 hours. That's when I know that they're very tired. They either woke up early or they really, exhausted themselves during playtime. But they're sleeping very well. The awake intervals have increased. So the awake intervals are about 5 hours. That they're awake. So it's 5 hours. So let's do it like this. So they wake up in the morning, and from that time, I start the counter. So that means after 5 hours from being awake in the morning, that is when nap time will be. And 5 hours after nap time is when bedtime will be. Now, to be very honest with you, we are still putting them down anywhere between 6 o'clock and 6:30, but they actually now fall asleep around 7. Dad will correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, right? Because he's not here. I miss him so much. So we put them down still at 6 o'clock as we have trained them, and it allows them to sort of have some quiet time. Very often we'll hear them playing together. Each one is in their cot, but we can hear them playing together and interacting, sometimes getting very naughty and throwing their bed mattresses over, but eventually they do fall asleep. So having that quiet time is very important before they sleep, I've noticed at least. Let's talk about food. Mama a food. That's what Naledi says. That's what Tsepang says when she wants food. Mama a food. It is the cutest thing ever. But they are eating way more, right? So we've weaned them off of formula. They now exclusively consume, some tea, some milk. I'm not too big on juices, but on the off occasion that we do give them a juice, it's often diluted, but mostly we're having tea, water, and milk, right? Fresh cow's milk. And now they are eating so much. They are gaining so many nutrients in order to keep up with their development. They're growing bodies. We spoke about that earlier, right? In height, in weight, that they need these additional calories and nutrients in order to sustain their growing bodies. And we are eating a variety of foods. So typically breakfast is still a porridge or either mabele, so sorghum, a maize, white maize what is it? Yeah, porridge. They have oats as well. We've also incorporated some bread and eggs for protein in the morning, and that has been very, very fun in terms of finger foods, right? Them self-feeding, picking up the clusters. I'll make like an egg scramble, or like, yeah, it's a scrambled eggs basically, and it makes it easier for them to pick up and feed themselves, which then in turn gives me an opportunity to just drink my cup of coffee while it is warm. It's been fantastic. Self-feeding is on the up and up. They really enjoy finger foods. So if you are stumbling on what it is that you can feed your little one, just look for bite-sized finger-friendly foods, right? So I love to do like a mince and bolognese sauce, macaroni, and bolognese. We'll do fish fingers, we'll do chicken nuggets, we'll do chicken strips. Sometimes I make them fresh from a chicken breast. Yes. What else are they enjoying? Everything, anything. Fruits, though, are becoming a bit of a challenge. And I'm not sure if it is a texture preference with both of them. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I keep trying when it comes to the fruits. So what will happen is today we'll have a banana, and tomorrow I'll offer a banana, and it is just rejected. It is flung across the room. It is smeared into their little, what do you call these things? Into their high chairs on the table there. They'll just smush it about, not really showing any general interest in actually eating it. And when I try bring the fruit closer to their mouths, they're just not having it. They won't take a bite. Which I suppose, now that I'm talking about it out loud, is just independence and preference, right? I think that's it. Comment down below, OG twin moms, if you experience this, or toddler moms. I mean, you try feed them one thing that you know that they eat and enjoy, but they're just not accepting. SOS. Oh, and before I forget, we've also had, great success when it comes to eating with utensils. It is an absolute mess. It becomes a horror show, but we've decided to let go. And I think it was more me than Dad, but Dad as well. Dad was reluctant to let them self-feed with utensils because of the mess. And I was reluctant because it was our bonding time. Like, just feeding them from one bowl, one spoon. We're all getting along. Left, right. That was something I treasured, but I can see that they have grown, or I saw rather that they had grown in confidence, and they were indicating, if they found a spoon and a cup, they would, try and scoop out imaginary food, and they're, mama, yum. So I was like, okay, so clearly you are ready. We just need to get with the program. So they do very well feeding themselves with utensils. And I'm talking about a spoon. We haven't ventured off into fork foods just yet, but with the spoon they're doing well. So some really thick double cream yogurt is able to stick on the spoon and makes it easier for scooping. I'll cook oats as well, just make it a little bit tighter so that it's easier for them to scoop. Porridge as well, I'll make it firmer. Listen to me saying tighter. I'll make it firmer for them, and it's easier to scoop. Sometimes they don't miss their mouths. It's just the general mess that happens. And if they aren't concentrating, then the food falls off the spoon and splat everywhere down. Sometimes they're talking with the spoon. It's just a lot that's happening. But I'm so happy to see them progressing and moving forward, doing something so normal. I never knew that it would fill me with so much pride. Something else that they've started doing, or rather the frequency has increased, nightmares. Never saw that as a developmental milestone, but I did my reading, and yes, mommy, daddy, you will notice the frequent night wakings or the wailing that suddenly comes out of nowhere. Your little one is just having a bad dream. And experts say that these bad dreams, these nightmares, are actually quite helpful. They are a way in which babies or toddlers are able to process their emotions and information. So we know that nightmares are very common. There's nothing really that you can do to prevent them. It's like you and I having a bad dream. You know, it comes off of seeing something, you know, you were triggered, maybe you watched a scary movie, and at times for toddlers, the big wide world out there can be very scary. Even the vacuum cleaner in your house, when it's on and it's running and they shoot out of the room, maybe that's coming back to them in a nightmare. I know that with the twins, they stay away from me when I have a hairdryer. When they hear the sound of the hairdryer going off on Sundays, which is typically my wash day, they bolt out of the room. So you know how they'll follow you around into every other room, see what you're doing. If I grab the hairdryer, they are out of there. They want no business, nothing to do with it. So nightmares are a developmental milestone. I would love to just tap into their brains and see what they're seeing or hear what they're hearing. It's amazing. Potty training. Something I don't think I'm fully prepared for. Certain moms have told me that they potty trained their little ones right as they turned 2 or just a little bit before they hit the 24-month mark. But I think as a family, as a unit, we'll be more comfortable closer to the 2.5 years mark when it comes to potty training. This is where experienced moms that I've seen, I think it was on TikTok, YouTube, as well as some articles, they found it a little bit easier with their other kids to actually start potty training them at around 2.5 years old. And experts also say once your little one is communicating, you know, poo-poo, pee-pee, Tepang is already doing that. Mama poo-poo, mama pee-pee. Even a fart is a poo-poo, but she's, you know, she understands that's the business of down there, of bowel movements, of, you know, making a wee. They say that's when you can start, you know, trying to potty train. But personally, I just need a few more weeks to really wrap my head around it and see how we can do it. And of course, talk to the teachers at school and find out what is their methodology. So I will be basing what we do at home versus off of what they do at school, because that's just where they spend most of their days, most of their times during the week. And what we'll be trying to do on the 2 days that, you know, we're not working and the whole family is home on the weekend is replicating that system and the same language. So Tepang is talking about poo-poo and wee-wee, which is really fantastic to see. Tepiso is doing something else. He is, quite frankly, traumatizing me. Yeah, he's getting uncomfortable with having a soiled nappy. So it started off in December. It started off in December when I was home, where he dug. No, I lie. There was a time before I noticed. It happened with Dad in the evening. I wasn't home. Dad just quietly, you know, kept it on the hush, kept it pushing, cleaned him up and put him back down. So he started digging in his nappy, in his poo-filled nappy, much to my horror. Then in December, I noticed while I was at home with my mom and my sisters that he did it. He did it twice. And I was like, okay, what is this? Now, he doesn't eat it necessarily, but he just seems very annoyed or curious as to what's going on back there. Then it happened, I think, an additional 2 times once we got back from the December holidays, somewhere in January, a little bit in February. We check up on him in the middle of the night and he had dug in his nappy and there was poo everywhere. And of course, we're going to handle it. We're going to tidy him up. We're going to clean him off. We're going to, you know, wipe it off the walls and all that. Hey, guys, condomize. I mean that. But I suppose if you're watching this video, it's a little too late for you, right? Anyway, so yes, so Tepiso is starting to show signs of being irritated by a soiled nappy, by a nappy with a number 2, with a poo, by digging in it. And I read up a little bit about that, and they said that your little one may be ready for potty training. So we are seeing all the signals. We are seeing the physical as well as the verbal, the spoken signals, and we'll be getting into that very soon. The time has come. There's nothing I can do about it. but get through it. I don't even know if you have enough time for us to discuss the tantrums, the terrible twos. There's a reason why they are called the terrible twos. And to be quite frank with you, around 21 months, we started seeing the tantrums manifesting and sort of bubbling under the surface and boiling over, right? Big emotions in tiny people who are just trying to understand the world. And they aren't naughty, they're just exploring and trying to see, testing the laws of gravity and everything else. And when you try and stop them from endangering themselves, this is when they wail the most and cry very hard for you to stop preventing them from doing what they want to do and allow them to do what they want to do. Now, I'll tell you how we've survived. The most important thing that I noticed is that if we end up frustrated as well as they are, or as intensely as they are, it does not bode well for anybody. It will not end well. It will end in tears for everybody. You hear me? Okay? So what we had to learn was to keep calm. Keep calm. They're having a tantrum because you won't let them play with the kitchen scissors or a knife or stick their fingers in, electrical sockets. That's fine. You keep calm. You de-escalate the whole situation. And something that has been helping me is turning things into a game. So propose a game right in the middle of that tantrum. Pull out a teddy, pull out a truck, act silly. Just be besides yourself in laughter. Tickle them. Do the things that you know that they love. And that sort of distraction works so well. It has helped me. So first I calm down and I see what it is that I can do to de-escalate the situation. That's how we've managed so far from around 21 months up until now. They're 24 months, 2 years old. That's how we've been dealing with the tantrums. And sometimes when it gets overwhelming, just shove the babies with your partner, go to the next room and breathe. It's not that bad, but it's bad. I don't know how else to explain it, but it can be frustrating. But if you end up very frustrated as well, the situation won't get any better. Trust me, these little ones, their lung capacity, top tier. They can wail and cry and scream and shout for hours on end, okay? So you try to keep yourself calm, de-escalate, distract, and, just know that it will pass. And from time to time, the tantrums do come up. I just haven't dealt with a tantrum in a public space, which is honestly a terror of mine. But as I'm getting ready to go out a little bit more and enjoy myself and enjoy ourselves as a family out in public spaces, it's something I know I have to prepare myself for, because I'm not gonna lie, it looks scary when toddlers are having meltdowns in the supermarket, in the clothing store, in the mall, at a restaurant. I cringe so hard and I feel so bad for the parents, especially the mom, because there's not much you can do to control this ball of emotions, right? And you may get some snacks looks, but hey, listen, it's not that easy, and just give yourself some grace because you're doing fine. Thank you so much for getting to this part of the video. Please comment down below if you enjoyed it. The more you engage, the better it does for my content for this video, in order for it to be beamed out into the YouTube space and be picked up by the algorithm and spread to like-minded individuals who need this kind of relief, who need this kind of reassurance that you and I are giving each other. Like the video, share it as well, and please remember to watch the ads, because we're now monetized. We're making a little bit of change, okay, from the content that is posted on this video, and it truly does go a long way in helping me create and keep creating more videos like this. Let me know what else you would love to see on the channel, and if you have any questions, drop them down below. The name is Fifi Matilla. It's been an absolute pleasure. Have yourself a fantastic time. And oh wait, yes, before I forget, if you notice anything that is seriously concerning, that is bothering you when it comes to your little one, don't hesitate pick up that phone, call your local clinic, call your pediatrician, take your little one for a checkup and see what it is that, can be done in order to support and bolster their development. So it might be seeing a physical therapist. It might be seeing a speech therapist. It might be just concentrating a little bit more on your little one when you're with them at home in order to see them flourish and come into their truest potential. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you. I've truly enjoyed making this video and I hope you come again.